What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Inside Lines podcast. I'm your host, Atoya Burleson.
And I am Tia Averill.
Coming up a bit later in the show, we'll be chatting with Emily Gardea. But before we talk to Emily, Tia, what's going on with you?
It's been a week. It's been a whole week. Cliff took the kids to a Purdue game. What was that, on Friday?
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, I'm going to have this nice, cool weekend solo.
Right.
By myself. I went to the Legion Sports Bar. We talked about it a few episodes ago. Cam and Richard's new sports bar. They had their grand opening on Friday. Went there, had a good time. Woke up Saturday and was down for the count. I'm talking like I've had this like nagging headache probably for like the last 2 days, but it was like on 1,000. I started vomiting. I was down for the count.
Oh my gosh.
Girl, home solo. So the only good thing about it is, how sometimes when moms are sick, they can't really be sick. They still got to be on. So I was like, okay, I can actually lay here all day. And I did. I slept the whole day away.
Good for
Ended up
you.
getting 2 IV bags because I was like, I just cannot. I don't know what's going on. But that was my weekend.
Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. But to your point, thank God you could just lay there with no worries or responsibilities.
Exactly. I said, goodness gracious. But how was your weekend or your week?
Yeah, my week. Week was a little crazy, I mean, you just been hearing so much news lately, and it's just been one thing to the next between Will and Jada. And then you hear about Minnie and Mickey breaking up. It's just too many. Girl, it's just too many things going on right now. And on a more serious note, one of my dear friends that I absolutely love, and you've met her. I think you remember Stefan Logan, right?
Yeah.
So his wife Jennifer, Jen, she passed of cancer. So I had to go to her funeral on
Stefan Logan.
Yeah,
Wife passed away.
Yeah, so I went to her funeral this weekend. So,
oh no, I didn't know that.
And I wanted to bring that up for a couple of reasons. For one, she was just such a good human. Like she was
goodness.
Huge supportive Inside Lines when we first started.
She came to the Miami show.
She came to our Miami show. She always reposted us, showed us love. She was so supportive and told everybody else, go follow Inside Lines. And most importantly for me, like, she was a genuinely good spirit. She's a Gemini, so I just feel like when we get together, we just vibed. I mean, we would, she loved to sing just like I did. So we would have little karaoke battles and have a blast, dance, we just acted like young kids. She always brought that out of me, which I loved. But even when we got together as couples, we had fun. We played Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud. Like we would go head to head and we just laughed and always had a good time. So I'm going to genuinely miss our times, her personality, and how great of a human she was. So Jennifer Logan, thank you for being you. You blessed so many people on this earth. And Stefan, Lolo, as I call him, I'm here for you. And please come visit us and hang because we'll definitely shower you with some love and make you laugh.
Mercy, yes. Look, I'm praying for you, Lolo. I had no idea. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
it was sorry to hear that.
It was crazy. A tough one, but it was good to say goodbye. They had a beautiful celebration of life for her in Florida, in Miami. Okay. So,
good.
So yeah, it was good to give him a hug and Mama Logan too. I got to see her. So it'd been a while. So he was such a great husband to her. He really was. And to the end, he was there right by her side, rubbing her feet, encouraging her. And if you guys want to donate, they were really big on basically sharing what she shared everything. Like she was very, very open about what she went through. And so was Stefan. Like to the end, he shared everything. And so they have they do a bike ride every year. It's in October for breast cancer awareness. And they have a
team for Jennifer?
Yes. Stefan went from playing football to riding bikes. And he has he got all the gear. I remember when he was picking out his bike and he rides for her every year. So we'll put the information in there if you guys want to support their cause and what they stand for every year. That would be awesome in memory of of Jen. Love you, Jen.
Goodness gracious. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all. I know that was a little somber, but right now we're going to move on to our interview with Emily Gardea. We are so excited to welcome Emily Gardea, significant other of Curtis Bolton of the Las Vegas Raiders and mother of 2 boys under 2.
Goodness gracious.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Today, we're going to talk about motherhood, the things you may not know about playing in the NFL, and the real experiences of joining a new NFL team. Please welcome to the show, Emily Gardea. Hello.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so we got to get right into it because you're a mama of 2 under 2, and I was that person. So I want to talk about it. You know, you think about like being a mother, you think about supporting your man every day, game day. There's so much that goes into it. Mm-hmm. How has life changed for you?
Definitely crazy. Even from like the moment we found out about our first, it was his rookie year in Green Bay. He had torn his ACL. So on top of that, like him recovering and all that, I found out I was pregnant. So we were like, obviously excited. So we're like, okay, we're just going to go through with it. And then we had went home in March for a baby shower, our son's baby shower. And that's when COVID hit. And it was the middle of COVID.
Where's home?
So home is California.
Okay.
So we're both from Southern California. So we went back home. Was there for the baby shower, and then I ended up getting stuck there, gave birth out there. And it was good. It was definitely, hard at first. I feel like every first time mom is very, you don't know what to do, and at the time, he's still healing, we're living at his mom's house. So it was a lot with it as well. And then I think he was almost a year or something around there. And then we found out that I was pregnant again. And we were just like, holy heck, it wasn't planned, it was very surprising. Yeah. So we were just like, we're going to make it work. We're going to figure out, how to do this. Like we have each other, we have the support. So we're just going we're going to do it. And then soon enough, my second was born, and then we've been thriving ever since. So it's definitely crazy. Yeah. Because of just like the toll, even like what football brings in to it as well. Like he wasn't there for our second son's birth.
That's what I was going to ask. What were the months that you gave birth?
June. So okay. June for my first of 2020, and then June 2019 for my first, and then December 2021. And he had just got pulled up to the 53. So we made that decision to where, like, hey, like you go play, and, I'll figure it out, and like I'll have somebody with me for birth, which was my mom. So it worked out, but it was definitely a lot. But I mean, it's hard, but it's worth it 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so there's definitely 2 things you said there, though, that I want to unpack a little bit. But one, you mentioned pulling them up to the 53. Can you explain just what you were referring to, just for people who are not familiar with the process? Yeah.
His kind of passes, he's been on, quite a few teams. So when he was injured his rookie year when we had our first son, and then our second, he was on practice squad. He was on practice squad with the Detroit Lions. And it was probably about like a week or 2 before, like I was almost due, that he got pulled up to the 53. To the active roster. Yes, and was going to play and, everything. And then obviously when, contractions started happening and all that, I was just like, it's okay. Like you go, you go do your thing over there, I'll do mine. Like, and season was going to end, like their record was not that great, so they weren't going to make it to the playoffs or anything like that. So I was like, I'll see you in, 2 weeks anyways, so just come home in 2 weeks and, we'll all be together again. But so yeah.
Was football new to you in the sense, like, did you understand or grasp the fact that, okay, when you go to an NFL team, there's a practice squad versus the 53-man active roster, or were you like, wait, what does this mean?
Yeah, no. So I didn't know anything. Like definitely grew up, about sports. Like I played soccer, but I didn't really care, nor more so like, anything with football. I didn't know anything. I didn't, nothing like that. So even when I met Curtis and like, he was going through his rookie and all that, even like till now, like, year 5, I didn't know that the whole practice squad, the whole 53, that you can get cut this, that, it doesn't matter. I was just like, holy cow, like, I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah.
I was just like,
The
what?
instability.
It couldn't be me. That's all I know.
Yeah.
It could not be me.
Yeah, because I think that people automatically say, like, when you say I'm in the NFL, people automatically think, oh, well, you're rich, oh,
Yep,
you have money.
100%.
And they don't think like, no, there's levels to this.
Yep.
Certain people are undrafted. They have to work their way up, like, and so that's why I really appreciate you telling that story, because a lot of people don't know. Like, even you're like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah. There's so many people that don't know that, like he's been on practice squad majority, of his, years, that, he's missed bursts, he's like that. Because it's what people see is like, oh, this picture perfect, what they see on my Instagram or whatever is like, oh, she like it's far from that. Like, and it's just crazy. And I feel like a lot of people don't see that nor know that. So like,
was it, did you have like difficulties, like really explaining that to maybe family? Like they didn't understand the process?
Yes and no. Like his, more so I feel like my family kind of already knew, like, my sister, my brother-in-law was in the, is in the league too. So it's like, she kind of already knew. And then like my mom kind of explaining it to her, like his family, he did a good job on like explaining it to them and like, so I feel like they kind of already knew, but like I feel like they didn't know like how much really like
how unstable it is.
Yes, 100%. So I feel like now they're like, oh wow, like okay, like before it's just like, oh, like he'll be okay, or he'll make another team. It's just like no, now everyone understands. Like okay, like
yes.
So you mentioned that he was on multiple teams on the practice squad. Did you move with him for every team?
No. So when we first got together, he was undrafted and signed with Green Bay. So went out there for, I want to say a year or two, and then he had got cut. So we came back home. And then I want to say after that was the Texans, I want to say. And I didn't move out there with him, but my sister had lived out there. So I went to like go see her. So like I would kind of just make a trip out of it. And then after that didn't work out, I want to say the 49ers, but by that time I was pregnant. So like I think I went out there once and that was it. And then the Lions, he was gone majority of all that time. So I was back home. And then I want to say then after that fell into the Raiders. And then he was here. And then obviously until like everything, was established and all that, then I came and moved out here with him. So I didn't move with him everywhere, and it was definitely hard, but it just made the most sense, especially with having young kids, being pregnant and then giving birth. Like it didn't make sense for us. Yeah. And when people like you explain that to people, like they're what the heck, and it's just like it worked for us. It would have been too chaotic, too crazy.
Move all, like everything out there, and it doesn't work out. That people don't understand. And like this is on our dime. Like we have to pay for this. No one pays.
And he's. And Curtis is very, like, hey, babe, like, it just doesn't make sense. Let's just wait. Or, so I'm just like, all right, like, I'm ready when you are, you tell me what's up and I'm up and ready, like, so it just didn't make sense. So it's nice now to be together. But yeah, majority of it, I kind of just stayed back home.
So is this your first team where you are finally meeting other people, like being a part of the team? Is this like your first, like, solid grounding?
So it is being with the Raiders. This is the first time that I've been more involved and more trying to go to watch parties or brunches, and like I get so sad when I can't make them because it's just like I'm trying to take full advantage of of it all, because like I wasn't and haven't been able to take advantage of that. Like I never went to parties or family stuff like that. So now I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm going to this, that, I'm getting my sitter, she's coming, like, hey babe, they're having this, we're going to that, like, and it's just more so like for a me thing. Like I'm shy, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm trying to, grow in that aspect of, like reaching out, meeting people, talking, like, So it's just like I'm trying to do that for myself too. So that's why I'm like, okay, any chance I get, I'm out there. Bye.
Yeah.
Like I'm going. I'm leaving them kids and I'm going.
And how is it with the team of women? Like how is,
Oh, here, like, the ladies here, and even wives and girlfriends I met from other teams have been amazing. Like we still follow each other. We still, message and stuff like that. But like here, everyone I absolutely love, like down to, like all the girlfriends, even like our family coordinator girl. Like I love all of them. They're super nice. They're very, like, hey, Em, if you need, this or that, or like, oh, if you need, and I just love them, and it's amazing to be a part, because I feel like it's scary, meeting other significant others, the girlfriends, like it's a scary feeling.
Yeah,
and I was always like,
yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so because you said that, okay, what did you think before you? Because it is different, right? Like when Cliff was drafted, I lived in one city, he lived in another, and I eventually moved up there, and I had these preconceived notions of like what it would be like to kind of be fully engulfed, right? So now that you, or I guess before you got fully engulfed and, meeting other people and all the things, what did you think, or what did you expect from some of the wives and significant others?
I think when I always thought, like, oh, like I knew like, everyone started off in like a position one, even if you got drafted first round or, whatever, like you're new regardless at some point. So like, I knew like they weren't going to be, judgmental or anything like that, but like I was just more so like, dang, like I wonder if they're gonna like know who like my significant other is and be like, oh, he's a or whatever, like it was just like those little things. I was like, oh, like maybe they know like we're, so I don't know, like, but I definitely knew that none of them were gonna be like, oh, she doesn't belong here,
Okay, so let's talk about 2 under 2. I remember being a collegiate athlete as well, and you give so much of yourself, and you put so much into yourself. And now you pivot into motherhood where you're exhausting and giving all of yourself to these 2 beings. Talk about the mind shift for you, and going from one to the other.
It was definitely, it's crazy because like, even like when I look at, before when it was just myself, like when it was just myself and, like I just had to worry about practice, this or that. And like now it's just like, I have to make sure that, like they're good all the time. Yeah. And it's, I definitely did in the beginning of motherhood, even, until recently, like honestly, like I always put them before myself and it caused like a lot of, I wouldn't even say problems, but it caused a lot because it was just like I wasn't putting myself first, nor like my relationship with my man, and stuff like that. So now, like even as they got older, like it's definitely okay now. Like now that they're kind of self-efficient, and like it's finally time for me to put into myself and put into my relationship for like all those years that I've lost, like and kind of just like lost myself, like. But it was definitely like a crazy turn, especially like. From 0 to 1, like it's hard because like you're a first time mom, you don't know what you're doing, like, and then going into like 1 to 2, it got a little bit easier, but it was still like I need my my first son, he still needs my attention, but like I have a newborn, like, so it's just like he needs me too, like, and I'm definitely thankful like I had the help because I feel like with the help and like my tribe that I have, it definitely like eased a lot of stress. Because it's just like they would come take them, watch them, all that stuff. But it was definitely like probably like the biggest like transition like ever. Yeah. It's just like, man, like it's a lot. And I feel like a lot of people don't, talk about that.
Talk about it, yep.
And it's just like, I'll be the first one to be like, yeah, it's not easy. It's not rainbows and butterflies. It's none of that. Because it's like you definitely lose yourself. And like I'm very big on the, not only were your kids born the day that they were, like, but a new version of yourself was as well. So it's just like I'm trying to learn this new version of myself, especially with 2 under 2, having them, 18 months apart. Like there's a lot new to me, and like there's a new me, emotions, hormone, like all that. So it's a lot, and then obviously like you look into your relationship where like I have like my relationship is different now too. Yeah. So it's just like it's definitely a lot, but the change from even just, focusing on myself, just being me, this college, athlete, just, and now being a mama too, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy moly.
Would you say it was more difficult for you to go from 0 to 1 kid or from 1 to 2?
I would say, wow. I would say maybe 0 to 1 because maybe
It's more difficult. Okay.
didn't know anything. I didn't know about the tricks and the tricks and tricks and all that kind of stuff. I'm like,
Right.
when my second was born, I was like, okay, like I know now, like I'm sleep training you, like I know this, that, and it's, and it was more so to where like I had like my oldest, he wasn't like that much, but like he helped a little bit, so it's like, okay, like I still have, 2 babies, but like it was not as bad as I thought. And like my second is the most calm, collected. So it was just like he was just the perfect second baby because it was like he definitely made it. He made it so much easier for me. So I feel like 0 to 1, it's hard because you don't know, you don't want to mess up. You're a first time parent, you're a first time mom, so it's like you want to make sure you do everything right.
Yeah.
My second, I was like, you know what, it's all right if I mess up a little bit. Like my first turned out fine. So it's
that's
just
right.
Like,
They'll be I. They'll be I. I remember when you
You had
talked
2
about
under 2?
I did. Yeah. My boys are 23 months apart. But I remember like you talked about being a mom and, like the stress 0 to 1, trying to figure it all out that first year. And then you mentioned relationships. And it's so interesting that you say that because I remember having my son and Nate was like, so are we going to go out like on a date or something? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, when do you want to go? And he's like, no, like you have to leave the kids and we have to go out on a date. And I just realized in that moment, like, oh, you're right. Like, I kind of have been lightly neglecting you. I mean, I need some help too. So it's kind of, so then you start realizing like, okay, there's certain things I have to do for me. And then there's certain things I have to do for we. And that was so, like, it clicked for me. Like,
100%.
I have to, like, change things, And
I'll be the first one, and it took me a while for that to click. And, even if, Curtis was to tell it, like, it did. It took me a long time for me to click, be like, oh, shoot.
It's been a minute,
I had to make sure he's good, too, and it did, we had our very lows, like, honestly, and then we had, and it was like, what are we going to do? Because like I got so lost in motherhood, which, he's always like that, like, that's fine. I want you to be the best parent, but like, it's a we thing too. I had to make sure like, you're good, I'm good, like, so it definitely was like probably one of the hardest things. And like, even until maybe like a few years ago or even a year ago, like I'm finally like, okay, like I need to put myself first and make sure like I put my man first because like I poured so much into the kids that it's just like, I need to put that into him as well. Or like we're not gonna, it's not going to be good.
It's
like,
true.
And it's, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that.
That's true. They don't.
How do you okay, so then how have you guys found a balance, right? Because I think about, to your point, you are trying to be like the best mom that you want to be, or that you can be or whatever. You do have a significant other that you also have to prioritize, but then you have yourself too, right? So it's like, how have you figured out the balance? Because it seems like you're in a good place right now, right? Like, not saying you have everything figured out, but it seems like you feel like, okay, I got the groove of things.
Yeah, so... man, honestly, just until like recently, I started to finally find that groove, find that, like.
What's one thing you did for you? Tell me one thing you did for you.
I think finally, like I put myself out there, like I'm now, part of like the Women of the NFL committee. I'm an assistant to like my sister, what she does, like a bunch of game day gear, and I'm.
Love.
Can't speak too much on it, but I'm finally starting to do, I guess, a small business for myself. Coming soon.
That's awesome.
But,
nice.
So I think I'm finally starting to put myself out there and, giving myself opportunities to grow and stuff like that. Before, you couldn't catch me. Nope. No way.
And what about for your relationship? What did that look like?
So... It was hard. Like, even till now, we are by far not perfect. Like, I promise you till today, but
It depends on the day. We all understand.
Look,
Right.
sometimes you're going to like him and sometimes you're not. And that's just normal,
sometimes
okay?
you're going to like me, sometimes you're not.
Exactly.
Right? But I think right now our biggest thing is just finding that communication and finding that time for each other to create that spark again.
Yeah.
And it's been hard, because, it's you got to find someone to watch the kids, you got to make time. He's tired, his off days, he doesn't really want to, do much. But I think for like right now, it's our communication and then just finding a way just to light that fire between us again.
Yeah, keep dating.
There's a lot that's gone, yeah, and it's, I think I've gotten very lost in the, like, I forgot to keep dating him.
Yeah.
And it kind
Yeah.
So it kind of like pushed him like, oh, well, dang, like
I'm at the bottom
like
of the totem pole.
and it's just like when he's the one that, he's the one that, makes sure everything's good. He takes care of everything financially, all that stuff. So he's like, dang, like I'm at the bottom of this, and it's just like, man. So, and it took me a long time to realize that, like, I'm not going to be like, oh no, I noticed right away. No, like, because he will look at me crazy the moment he, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, but it took me a long time. Like, I've been a mom for 3 years, and I would say it barely all just clicked for me even recently, and I think it's, a little too late, but it's not a little too late to really, like,
it's not too late.
Push it.
I'm still early.
We still young, we still.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna help you light that spark. You're gonna have to tell us the story of how you and Curtis met. That's gonna light the spark. Let him listen to this. You got to make it good, Emily. Come on.
Right. Okay. So it's very crazy. Okay. So we're both from Southern California. So I don't know if you're familiar, but he's from Temecula, California.
Okay.
And I'm from Corona, California. They're probably honestly about like 45 minutes away from each other. Okay. But we didn't meet in California. He played college at Oklahoma. So my older sister, my sophomore year of college, I got hurt, tore my ACL, my meniscus, came home, got surgery, and just was wanting to just kind of restart. So my sister had moved to Tennessee for her master's. So she was like,
wait,
hey,
who was your sister?
Alyssa McKenzie.
Oh, you know what? When you said sporty gear, I was like, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you that's my boo? She just made something for me for my son's.
She told me before I got. She goes, can you tell him I said hi? I love that.
She's my favorite. I love her.
I'll text her on the side. I'll text her.
Yes. Okay. When you said the sporty thing, I was like,
and you see it in the face now, Tia, right? You see
now,
it in the face.
now it's
so
like,
funny.
of course they're carbon copying. I didn't catch it at the beginning of this interview.
Yeah. So she got her master's. Was getting her master's in Tennessee. She was like, hey, if you want to come out here, like, you're more than welcome to. So I moved out there with her in Tennessee. We were out there for about like a year, did some change, and then she got a job in Oklahoma. She was like, hey, again, you could come with me if you want to, or you could, stay in Tennessee or do whatever. So I was like, you know what? Like, I got, I'm young, I'm living my best life. Like, let me go with you too. So prior to me moving to Oklahoma, Curtis had DM'd me on Twitter. And was just, I forgot.
He slid in your DMs. Oh, it better be good,
and
Curtis.
I forgot what he said. Like, oh, you popped up on my TL or something like that. Like, and I had told them, like I live in Tennessee, so we talked for a little bit and then kind of just like stopped talking. And then so I moved to Oklahoma, and on Twitter at the time, like, you could change your bio to like where you live. So I changed it to Oklahoma. And then I think I was out there for maybe like 2 weeks, and then he DM'd me again, and it was like, "Oh, like you and
you." He was waiting,
like you're right, and don't let him tell you otherwise, okay? And he DM'd me again, was like, "Oh, like you're in Oklahoma," and I was like, "Yeah, like I just moved out here 2 weeks ago," and he's like, "Oh, you should let me show you around."
Okay,
all
game,
that.
Okay,
right. So like at the time, like I didn't know who he was, I didn't know, what. I guess from his pictures, like, oh, he plays football. Okay, I don't really care. So then we kind of talked on and off, but like didn't really. And then he had texted me one day to go to the Oklahoma Fair. And I had just woke up from a nap, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, like, why not? So we went. He picked me up. I will never forget it. He picked me up, and he go laugh. It was his little Chrysler. You got in the car and he had those lights at the bottom of the, the seat. Man. And then they were just lighting up different colors. And it was just, so he picked me up, went to the fair. And ever since then, we have literally been together ever since. Like,
That's
and it's
awesome.
so crazy to think that like we met all the way in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But we're both from California. So like when we got to, I was like, oh, I'm from Corona. He was like, what the heck? Like such a small world.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, who would have thought, you know, like you would find a Cali girl, you know, like out there. Like, and then ever since then, been together.
Honestly, that was the best of both worlds. Because I will say, if you, like when you are traveling around the country, whatever, meeting significant others all around, when you guys are from two different places, stuff get hard when you're having kids and there's holidays and, you know, because then it's like, okay, well, this year, this Christmas, I'm going to spend it here and this Christmas, I'll spend it.
So it was nice. So like, I think it was summer or we literally drove from Oklahoma all the way back to Cali together. We, you know, saw his family, saw my family, all that, and then literally drove right back to Oklahoma. Like it was just like, what are the odds? You know, like God knew what he was doing, you know, and it's just crazy. And then just to think, you know, like we went to one fair together and then had been together 5 years since, you know, 5 years later, now here we are.
So have you been to the fair in Las Vegas?
I have not. I seen a lot of people going that like some of my friends live out here too. And I'm just like, man, like you'd be shocked. Yes, I live in Vegas, but I don't do nothing. I have not gone nowhere. Like I don't leave my house. And I'm just like, okay, that's part of the M. You need to get out, you know, you need to go do things, you know, like, but I'm definitely have been saving little places to go as my, you know, like, my date night or, you know, taking Curtis and, you know, like us to, you know, and I think it's just hard too, because Vegas, it's not so much kid friendly. Yeah. So it's very hard, you know, to go do things when it's just like, okay, like sometimes I want to bring the boys or, you know, like, but I promise you, I haven't got nowhere out here. Like,
listen, date night,
unless I have to go somewhere.
Y'all got to switch it up. You pick one week, he can pick another week and just surprise each other.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been looking at a little, you know, ways to spark it and, you know, stuff like that. Like, so it's just definitely like, hopefully, you know, it all works out. I just need my sitter to come back. She just gave birth. I want to say like the end of September. Please. So she was like, I'll be back in she was like, I'll be back in October. And I was like, oh, you let me know when, because
one day.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll be here.
You know, it's interesting. I want to go back to like your motherhood journey. And I was thinking about this in Atoya, maybe this is kind of where I'm like, shit was more difficult for me, is both of you guys had the 2 under 2. And so the kids were kind of in similar phases, right?
Yes.
But when I had my first was almost 5. And so he was in a completely, he out trying to ride around and get it. And meanwhile, I have to nurse and be here. Right. Yeah. And so it was difficult. But to your point, which is so awesome that you even thought of this, is like every time you had a kid, you became a different person. Right. Because I feel like these life events in general, like you evolve into somebody different. Do you think Curtis allowed you to become that different person? Or is he, I did say, well, let's get back to motherhood, but then this question popped up. But do you think Curtis allowed you to like be that other person and was like not necessarily stuck on like, oh, I want the old M back?
So I want to say like yes and no, because, you know, like he understood this new person that like I was becoming and, you know, like had become. But like part of him also too was just like, you know, he said it like I miss the, you know, like the old Emily. So like I was trying to like always figure out a way, you know, even like till now, like, okay, how can I still be, you know, this new version of myself? Cause like I love it, but like kind of bring back like the old Emily a little bit. You know, like, but he was very vocal, like he was always very vocal, you know, like he's never gonna, you know, like make me change my ways or judge me for becoming, you know, because it's a lot, you know, so, but he always, you know, was kind of like, hey, like I miss, you know, like the old you a little bit. And like sometimes, like when it comes to certain things, like how vocal I was back then, like you wasn't gonna get, I'm gonna tell you, no, that ain't it. Now it's, I'm a little, you know, oh, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to, you know, cause a problem. You know, so like certain things like that, he's very like I want the old M, you know, I want the old M back because like you was, you know, you wasn't putting up with it. or like you were more vocal back then, you know, like, and now like anytime, you know, any kind of communication, I'm shutting down, you know, like I'm crying and then that's it, you know, like, so I would say like yes and no, but he was always very, you know, like understanding and was never, you know, like, oh, you need to. No, he's like, I'm going to let you, you know, like discover yourself and, you know, like all that. He goes like, I just really hope, you know, like it in the end, like all of it kind of comes together. Like you kind of get it all back. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the greatest thing about, you know, being a woman is we always talk about us being, you know, multidimensional. We can do so many different things and we kind of have to be honest. But there's also the evolution of a woman. And I think that, you know, in evolving, you know, even though there's pieces of you that you do leave behind, I think you pick up better pieces of yourself and you just keep going in that sense. And if we just remember that and like lean into that, we don't have to be exactly someone else, but we can still take
100%.
pieces of that person along the journey. It definitely helps us and propels us in what we're supposed to do next.
Absolutely.
So I think that as women, like, although he's saying he misses the old you, I think what he was saying is there's certain things that he misses about you.
Yes.
And so it would be interesting to find out what those are.
And it's crazy because I remember like before I'd be like, dang, that's mean, you know, like, wow. But it's just like now it's just like I get it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's those little things that he's kind of like I want that back, you know, plus this new version of you as well. He goes, because you could be freaking great.
Right.
You know? Like no one would be able to tell you, you know, anything if you like. He goes, but you're going to figure it out. You know, and he was like, you know, like, and I'm going to be here, like, even when you do, like, if you need help or anything like that, you know. So it's definitely been like hard because it's like the way I am. Like, I can't change it. I'm the, you know, the nurturing, the nice one, you know, like I don't say nothing, you know, I'm non-confrontational, you know, so it's very hard to like, okay, like figure out a way to, okay, Em, like that's only going to get you so far, you know, like you got to figure out a way to kind of, you know, how, you know, bark a little bit, you know, like
a little bit.
Bark a little bit. Let me mark
have
this
a little
clip
bit
right now.
Yes, that's right. So what's the buzz like in Vegas? Like I know Vegas, their Super Bowl will be there in 2024. It's about to be crazy. We all know.
Out of control.
What's it been like as far as the buzz there right now?
Oh, it's definitely it. Like even the games I've gone to, like, the other teams, you know, they show out too, like their fans, but like them Raider fans really be some diehard Raider fans.
For sure.
And I'd be like, man, like, and it's amazing. And it's even more crazy because like Curtis is like, you know, history is like, you know, his family, you know, his dad was a big, you know, Raiders fan. So like the fact that, you know, he signed to like his childhood, you know, like team, like his dad's favorite team, like I think it just adds more of that buzz, you know, because it's just like he's playing for, you know, so it's just like anytime like I'm there, like it's incredible. Their stadium is beautiful. Yeah. Like their food's good, they drinks good, you know, like that's amazing. Like Vegas is definitely like, it's up there. And like the fact that even like they're building even more, you know, on the strip and like all that kind of stuff, like it's definitely, that buzz definitely it. And I'm super excited for like, you know, the Super Bowl Usher. It's gonna be it, okay? And it's 20 minutes down. We gotta make the Super Bowl, okay? I don't gotta travel nowhere.
That's so dope.
I can stay right here.
That is amazing. We cannot wait to be there for the live podcast. It's gonna be so fun. We're looking forward to it because we know that Vegas is one of a kind, and what it brings 100%. no other city will bring. So
at all. Everybody about to be in Vegas.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah, that's gonna be next level.
And you and Alyssa have to come. Y'all have to come to the live podcast.
Right. I know. We gotta talk to her, okay? Because trying to get that woman out of her house,
I'm gonna get her out.
As hard as
now,
that.
we talked to her about that a few months ago, so we have to remind her, like, okay, you got to.
Yeah, like I'd be like, girl, you can go. Like, it's okay. Well, I'd be like, get out. It's okay. Like, you're gonna be all right. Everybody, he gonna be all right.
Yes.
Like, you got it. Come on.
That's right.
Yes.
Man, I'm trying to get her to come visit me. She works too hard. She works too much.
She does.
Actually, we have to do a site visit out there soon. So when we get our dates locked in, we're gonna have to connect.
Yeah, we're gonna come pull you out the house too. Boop, boop.
Right. Okay. You don't gotta tell me twice. My sitter. I'll be hello.
Okay. So before we get into the 2-minute drill, I got a question for you. So what do you think, it's kind of going back to the motherhood piece, but what do you think motherhood or your children are teaching you about yourself?
Honestly, I would say their main thing, like they have taught me, both of them, is patience is key in absolutely everything. You know, not just having the patience with them, but like just patience in life and, you know, and what's going on. Like, it's all right if it's not perfect right now, like it's going to be. You know, like, and it's, and I would say like they both taught me a self-love that is just absolutely like unreal, because it was just like before, like, oh no, but like now it's just like, I love myself more after I had both of them.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because
you made
would
them.
think, yeah. And I even tell, you know, Curtis, like, obviously, you know, we weren't ready for 2, but like it's even my youngest, and like I needed him more than, you know, like I needed my first. And it's just so crazy because it's, when I look at both of them, and they gave me that purpose and like that, like, and it's so undescribable, you know, like, but like I would say like the main thing that they've taught me is patience, because it's a lot of people don't have it. And it's really, it's hard, you know, kids are hard, you know, two is hard, you know, but like I would say like that's the biggest thing like they've ever taught me, and it falls into so many other categories, you know, because like if I have a hard day with them, it's like, okay, and patience, you know, like don't take it out on, you know, XYZ, you know, like it's just relax a little bit, you know, just breathe, and like it's going to be all right. Like we have tomorrow. Like, but I would say definitely patience is what they have taught me, and definitely a new inner side of myself, because before that, no.
You're like, that wasn't up there. Okay, so we're going to play this amazing game called the 2-minute drill. And most people know it's this or that or the other. So we're going to just give you a few, and you have 2 minutes, and Tia is going to start the timer. Let me know when you're ready, Tia.
Eyes ready.
Okay. All right. Arrive early or always late?
I would say arrive early.
Lose your phone or lose your keys?
Lose my phone. Because I think it's because like I don't really care for my phone, you know, like I don't have it anyways. My toddler always has it. So.
Most likely to get lost or always on your navigation?
To get lost.
Clap back on social media trolls or just leave it alone?
Leave it alone.
How many alarms do you need to wake up?
1. That's it. I don't even need one half the time.
No, yeah. With kids, you don't, right?
Most likely to apologize first, you or Curtis?
Depends, but mainly me. I will.
Which is worse for you in the stage that you're in, cooking or cleaning?
Cooking. I suck.
She said, I suck. Okay, respond to text messages quickly or follow up later?
Follow up later.
Ask for advice and follow it, or ask for advice and don't listen to it?
Probably ask advice and don't listen to it.
Look, it's all an experiment, okay? Party planner or I'm just happy to be here?
I'm just happy to be here.
She said, feel you on that. And okay, tell us before we get up, what is next for Emily?
So as of right now, like I said earlier, hopefully, you know, my little, you know, surprise small business that I'm doing, that's hopefully what's going to be next for me. And I would say the biggest thing, honestly, and like real is getting my relationship, you know, back, like if that makes sense. So as of right now, like my biggest thing is, you know, my little business I got going on, and then, you know, my relationship, my man, like in my family. And after
That's
that,
beautiful.
Yes,
That's beautiful.
yes, yes,
You
yes.
are amazing. Thank you for sharing. I know that so many women can relate to you. And so you're going to bless so many. So thank you so much. And if people want to if they want to get a hold of you, let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. So definitely, I'm only really on Instagram. So it's M Gardea. And I'm pretty much there all the time. So feel free to follow, message me, anything like that. And I'm open to all of it.
And I'll be sure to put links in our show notes to your Instagram account.
Yay.
But I'm going to say this. Her baby was all up and through here. And when I say she kept it stoic and was here and passing stuff,
Right?
I'm like, oh, she got it down to a science. Okay?
When she talked about patience, she didn't just talk the talk, she walked the walk. Okay.
Listen.
It definitely is like being at home with them all the time. Like you learn that, like, all right, here, like,
Yeah.
okay,
Whatever it takes.
I'll know when it's serious.
Yeah.
And other than that, you're
You
good.
do,
You just
you
want
do.
my attention right now. But like, I'm
Yes.
a little busy. Like,
I love it.
Absolutely love it. Thanks so much for joining us.
thank you guys.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. That is our show. For the latest on the Inside Lines podcast, make sure to follow us at Inside Lines Podcast on both Instagram and Facebook.
You can also listen online and share your favorite episodes at our website, which is insidelinespodcast.com. And if y'all don't know by now, we have a YouTube channel. That's right. Follow us at Inside Lines Podcast and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you get all the notifications when the new episode comes out.
Until next time, leave it all out on the field. Thanks for listening.